Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I am making a 3-tier tray, a regular tray, and about 9 little decorations to fill up my trays. I am so excited to finally have a 3-tier tray. I know I'm really late to the trend. I had been wanting one forever. I got all of the supplies over a month ago, so I finally went ahead and made it, and I made all of these little decor items to go with it. So if you want to see how I made any of these items, then just keep watching. So for the first tray, I am just taking one of these leftover bells I had from Christmas from the Dollar Tree, and I'm just going to take my box cutter and carefully cut off that top piece so that it's flat on top. And then I'll be using an older pan I have from Dollar Tree and spray painting that and the bell black, but the inside of the pan I will be spray painting white. Then after finding the center of my pan, I'm just going to use hot glue to glue those two together, and that's all I did for this tray. For the 3-tier tray, I'm going to use 1 cake pan and 2 pie pans from Dollar Tree. I haven't ever seen a video on YouTube of anyone using this method, but I came across this post online and I thought that it looked really neat. So the girl said that she just pinched down in one spot, and in the section right next to her fingers, she pulled that section up. So I'm just going to go ahead and do that to this pan and the other pan as well. Then after I paint them white, I'm going to use these wooden table legs that I got on Amazon. They're only $2 each and they're 7 inches long. They did come with a screw already inside of them, so I removed the screw from the one I will be using on the bottom. But I thought that it would make it a lot more sturdy if I could screw the 2 table legs together with the middle pan being in between them. So that's all I'm doing here, is drilling a hole in the middle of one of my pie pans. And then I didn't get the rest of this footage, but all I did was use hot glue to glue the cake pan to the second table leg, and then I just outlined all of my pans with some black paint. For the first decor DIY, all I'm doing is taking these little red trucks from Dollar Tree and this little trailer. I spray painted the trailer gray and the trucks white, and I'm just gonna go in with some gray paint and a black marker, and I'm not trying to be perfect with this. I'm just going to kind of highlight all of the tires, the windows, the doors, just kind of bring these trucks back to life a little bit. The next DIY is really simple and self-explanatory. I'm just making a mini ladder. I am using 4 regular sized popsicle sticks, cutting off the rounded edges and just using hot glue to glue it all together. Then I go in with some brown wax and stain the whole thing, and that's all I did for this one. The next DIY, I am finally going to use some of this chess game I got from Dollar Tree a very long time ago. I'm going to use a couple of these little pieces, and then I'm going to use this handle from one of these foam paint brushes. I'm just going to hand write Farmhouse on here, and then use hot glue to glue the chess pieces onto the sides, and you kind of have a little mini rolling pin. This next DIY, I'm using some twine and 4 of these little crafters wooden cubes from Dollar Tree. Then I'm going to drill a hole through each of the cubes so that I can string these onto some twine with some wooden beads. So I'm just going to tie a loop at the top, and then on the bottom I'm going to add some twine to tie it off so that I can make a little tassel on the bottom of that. And I just do that by adding another piece of twine around it and securing it with hot glue. Then this next DIY, this was actually a little Dollar Tree decor. I used to have a red heart on top. I just painted it white, and then I'm going over it with some brown wax. Then I printed out some little images on my computer, and I'm just going to use the coloring the back with a pencil method to trace out this barn onto this wooden block. And then I'm just going to fill in those pencil lines with a black marker. This next DIY is one of my favorites. I am going to start by staining some of these little Jenga blocks with the brown wax. And then I made a bunch of little signs on Fonto and printed them out. I'm just going to cut down each of those little signs to 2.5 by 2.5 inch squares, and I'm also going to cut out a few 2.5 by 2.5 inch squares of poster board. Now all I'm doing is taking Mod Podge and gluing 2 signs to each side of my little poster board squares. Then I seal it with Mod Podge and glue each little sign in between 2 Jenga block pieces. I will also link a video down in the description. It's one I did a while ago, but I made a double-sided bigger decor sign for my kitchen table tray, and that was one of my favorite DIYs that I've ever done. I still love that sign. So the next DIY, I'm just using that red heart that came off of that block piece, and I'm just going to paint this black. And then I have this little sign that I'm going to figure out how I want it to lay on the heart, and then I'm going to cut it out, and with a scrap piece of paper I'm just going to cut out a little white heart, and that's going to go on the opposite side of this black heart. After I Mod Podged it down, I just pulled around the edges just to tear it up and just kind of make it look a little bit worn. And then I am going to hot glue this down onto one of those little Jenga blocks. This next DIY, I just wanted to put some cute little florals inside a little mini box. So I'm using some Jenga pieces to make this little box, and then I'm going to wrap a piece of burlap around it. So I did print out a sign, and as you can see here, I messed up the first one and I had to reprint them out. Now I started to look for anything that I had that would help hold them in place, and I came across this very old piece of floral foam. If I had found this before making the flower box, I would have just went the easy route and wrapped a piece of burlap all around the floral foam and then just stuck some flowers in there. For the last DIY, I am taking a sheet of this poster board from Dollar Tree. I'm going to cut out 2 strips that are the width of a popsicle stick. After I cut those out, I'm going to cut them down to 3.5 inch sections. So I actually should have left the last 2 strips longer instead of cutting that little bit off, but I didn't, so I have to go back later and cut me 2 more strips that are a little bit longer than 3.5 inches. Then I am cutting out 2 more strips that are a little bit thicker, and I used Jenga block to measure out the width of these. I'm gonna go ahead and measure out every 2.5 inches, and I'm going to mark there, and then I'm gonna go ahead and fold on those marks all around. So once you glue this together, after folding on those marks, you will have a square. So all I'm doing is taking one of those thicker strips, and then I'm just gonna line up the Jenga block with the ends on each of these 4 sections that we marked out. And then right on the inside of the Jenga block is where I'm going to make a mark with a pencil, and that's where I'm gonna know where to glue down all of my strips. I'm hoping this is making sense. It's kind of hard to explain, but hopefully you guys can see what I'm doing. So you're only going to glue down 4 strips in the first 2 sections. And then you're going to go ahead and glue the thick strip, fold it on all of those folds, and then glue it together, and you're going to end up with the square, which is going to be the outline of this little mini basket. Then once you have that, you're going to fold over one of the strips, and see how I have that pencil line there, so I know exactly where to glue that strip down. And you're going to alternate, then you're going to go to the next section and fold down one of those strips, and then back to the previous section. And this is just going to make it so that they weave, and then that last one you will weave in and out on your own, and then glue that one down. So for the diagonal strips, I'm just going to use a popsicle stick to get that bend on the end, and then I'm going to pinch the 2 corners together so that that will glue right onto the corners. And then you're going to take that second thicker strip that you cut out, and you're going to glue that all around the outside. Then all I did was took some twine and 5 of these wooden beads I got from Amazon, and I'm just going to glue the twine down in each corner and just have the beads kind of hanging there. And I love the way that this little basket came out. That's all the DIYs I have for you guys today. I know I went through them kind of quickly. I didn't want to make this video any longer than it needed to be. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up for me and click that subscribe button. And I really hope to see you all in the next video.